If I'm being honest. So getting all the guts.
Well. I guess you guys can follow.
You spoke too soon.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Are you going? Kind of interested to see if there's extras for like writing somebody. That's still open.
All right, it is 7 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and get started. I call this meeting of the Students Association to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, co-led by Communications Chair Fink and Senator Robbins.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to roll call for the final time. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Duncan, unexcused, Gibney, Hofer, Campson, Markley, unexcused, Podell, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins, Shell, Schmeck, Sierra, Spear, Stein, Sternhagen, Tennant, Vasquez, Wessler, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Finance Chair Peterson, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo here, Vice President Bentz, President Peterson, AFA, AISA, unexcused, BSA, GSA, IRC, LASA, Unified Council, UPC, Dr. Schmidt, and Dr. Grief.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Peterson. All those in favor of adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes tonight? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Stein. All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. All right, we'll move on to open forum item A, Student Organization Constitution. We'll welcome up members of the Bioethics Society.
Here.
Right up here.
All right. Can I just speak?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
just talk.
First off, apologize for my appearance. I didn't know this was this formal, so I'm coming off right after class. So a little bit about our club. So we are the Bioethics Society, and basically our goal is we kind of want to get the student body thinking critically about ethics and moral questions. There's not really a club out there that prepares people for the situations that they'll encounter in real day-to-day life. We learn all this material and we learn how to do things, and we're memorizing equations and where the tip fib is at, but we don't know how to, or I don't think there's, besides like bioethics class, there's really not a good way for students to learn like when is this stuff applicable, when will it be, like what are the moral dilemmas that they'll be facing when they finally graduate and get a real profession. And yeah, so my club's kind of, our club is aimed at kind of addressing that issue. Any questions?
Well, you certainly seem very passionate. I'm wondering how you plan to put this into motion. What exactly are you planning to do at your club meetings, and what sort of events, what sort of monetary or fiscal needs will you have? What's your general structure going to look like?
Great question. I realized I didn't talk about any of that. So we basically plan on hosting a lot of guest speakers, people who are already in the professions, and kind of learning about the way they think about how they treat their patients, how they encounter their roles in the professional field, and not just knowing what they do, but how they think about it and what issues they face when they're, tackling the issues that their profession, that they have. As for like fiscal needs, right now, really nothing. I mean, we really just want to get people talking. We want people thinking. That's mainly going to be through, hosting a meeting. We find one topic that we think is a hot button issue, like genetic gene therapies, genetic engineering. I'm bio, so those are kind of like what my focuses are. And we'll just talk about those and get people discussing in small groups about them, and then get together and see, like, what have we discovered about this situation? What are we thinking about it now? I think the best way to describe this club is we want people thinking about these issues now, so when they're encountering them in the future, they don't have to think about them then, because they've already kind of processed them a little bit, and it's not just, smack in the face like, whoa, I don't even know what I think about this. Did I answer everything in your
Yeah, you
question?
did great.
Okay. Any others?
How much membership do you already have interested, and have you guys met already?
We have not. We've met as a small group, and we have an Instagram page. I think it's up to like 50, maybe 60 followers now. So there's definitely some interest in it. We plan on, putting some flyers and some business cards around campus when we get those approved. So there's definitely some interest from what we see so far.
Who's your advisor?
Our advisor is Dr. Greg Peterson. He is something to do with the or Ethics Society, Dean, Associate Dean, I don't know.
Do you see yourself partnering with other clubs like AMSA or Pre-Pro for like different events?
Oh, for sure. We actually have already reached out to Pre-Pro and to Mass Club to kind of talk about who we are, what we do at one of their meetings, and we kind of want to, line up with some of the things that maybe they're or talking about in their meetings. Like say a Mass Club is talking about some surgical procedure, like we can do a bioethics meeting on that surgical procedure, like what there are the ethical concerns, what the patient might be thinking and feeling, and as a physician, what should be going through your head.
Thank you.
Anything else?
As I'm sure you know, bioethics is a wide-ranging field that doesn't only apply to medical students, but can apply to lots of different areas in the biosphere of our world. Do you have any plans to maybe reach out to the Natural Resource Management Department at all? Have students in that department involved with the club at all?
Yes. So I'm a pre-med major, so everything that I have on my mind is bio specific. But we've talked a bunch to Dr. Peterson about branching off into any of the other colleges on campus. He thinks that there's a lot of students in the ethics society or in the ethics school or the humanitarian school that would be interested as well. Natural resources, I haven't reached out to them yet, but that's definitely something that I'd be interested in talking with. But yeah, I think it's applicable to literally any field out there. Everyone faces moral issues, everyone faces ethical dilemmas. And this isn't even just for professionals, this could be just for regular people too. Like, I mean, I think the patient might be the most important person to talk to about this. Sorry.
Not to pull you in yet another direction here, but the comp and data science majors, they have to do training on the ethics of handling biomedical information and health information. Is there any chance that you might also involve those majors as well?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Anybody is welcome. Like from professional to majors to just some layman who wants to just know about bioethics. Everybody can benefit from this.
I have a statement and a question. It won't affect my vote because I like making new clubs, et cetera. But in the advisor expulsion section of your constitution, it mentions required to expel a member. And I don't know if that's a typo or if that's supposed to be there. I just wanted to bring that to your attention so that we don't set you up for failure.
Can you specify the article and section?
Yeah, it's so page 4, section 4, advisor expulsion. And E1, a 2/3 vote is required to expel a member in the advisor expulsion section.
Yes, that happens to be a typo. I can get that corrected.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you saw that. My other question is, you have you can have active members that do not pay dues.
We have the option further down in the in our constitution. We just had the option open of putting dues if we wanted it or if the club grew to such a size where that was applicable. Right now, obviously, our dues are going to be 0. So I pay dues, they're going to be paying nothing.
So if dues are set to 0, that goes away.
Yeah.
But when the club gets approved, because I'm sure it will get approved tonight, is there going to be members that pay dues and members that don't? And there are like criteria for that? Because that's...
Right now, there'd be no, the only distinction between an active member and an inactive member would be if they would sign up on JaxHub. I think it says something about JaxHub with an active member and inactive member. I just put that classification down there for like if somebody is really interested in club, maybe they want to move up in the ranks, go on JaxHub, go through the official route. But say if you just want to be there to listen, to learn, to hear the professionals, then you'd be a non-active member and you're more than welcome to come and hear what we got to say and have a discussion. Any others?
Thank you guys so much. Right. Can I entertain a motion to approve this club constitution? Senator Stein.
Yeah, so I had the chance to talk.
Sorry, I just need to say something first. All right. It's okay. Senator Stein, you have the floor.
I had a chance to talk to these guys a little bit last week and hear about their club and kind of some of their goals. And there isn't really anything like this out there on campus. I know they're very driven. They have lots of plans in the books for what they're, going to be doing. So I would vote yes. I think it's going to be a great club.
Further discussion on this motion? Seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senator Barnett.
Aye.
Brink.
Aye.
Derek Humfort.
Aye.
Duncan abstains. Gibney.
Aye.
Hofer.
Aye.
Campson.
Aye.
Markley abstains. Podell. Peterson.
Aye.
Pulse.
Aye.
Robbins.
Aye.
Shell.
Aye.
Schmeck.
Aye.
Sierra.
Aye.
Spear.
Aye.
Stein.
Aye.
Sternhagen.
Aye.
Tennant.
Aye.
Vasquez. Wessler.
Aye.
Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Aye.
Communications Chair Fink.
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Chief of Staff Sabo. Aye. Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and the Bioethics Society Club Constitution is approved. All right, moving on to open forum, item B, Campus Partner of the Year Awards. So as I call your name for your award, the recipient, you're welcome to join me up here at the podium. So the first award we will be presenting this evening is the 2025 Student Organization Advisor of the Year. This year's recipient is Tracy Gislason, who serves as the advisor for Student Nurses Association. Tracy embodies the SDSU core value of people-centered. She is always offering to help her students and goes the extra mile, staying past scheduled work hours to support the Students Nurses Association. Congratulations. The next award we have to present this evening is the 2025 Professional Advisor of the Year Award. This year's recipient is Amanda Wilder, an undergraduate advisor for the Natural Resource Management Department. Amanda prioritizes personal relationships with each student she advises, ensuring that they are given academic opportunities that meet their needs and align with their interests. She is described as one of her students' biggest cheerleaders and encourages them to be involved by joining student organizations and attending events. Congratulations. You're so welcome. Yes. Oh, that was sweet. Thank you. Our next award is the 2025 Faculty Advisor of the Year Award. And this year's recipient is Dr. Christine Larson. I do not see is with us tonight. But anyways, we'll read about her anyways. Dr. Larson is the Kemp Endowed Professor of Honors Mathematics. Dr. Larson serves as a trusted mentor to her students. She's described as compassionate, caring, and willing to lend a helping hand. Her personalized guidance and genuine support empower students to thrive academically and professionally. So, congrats, Dr. Larson. Right. The final Campus Partner of the Year award we have to present this evening is the 2025 Campus Partner of the Year. This year's recipient is Marjoanne Collins, or better known as Marge. Marge serves as the Assistant Director in the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Accessibility. Marge's nominator, who is presenting her award tonight, describes her as one of the most approachable and caring members of the SDSU community. She's extremely supportive of students that are involved in the Office of Multicultural Affairs and Accessibility, but also others, providing students with opportunities to express themselves through culture and creativity. With an open door policy, students are always welcome and comfortable to go to Marge for advice, mentorship, or a listening ear. Marge embodies all of SDSU's core values, but most notably, her integrity shines through in her commitment to providing honest and compassionate guidance to help students succeed. Congratulations, Marge. Again, congratulations to all of our award recipients. You're welcome to stick around for our meeting, but please don't feel obligated to. All right, moving on to our next awards of the evening. We first have our Senator of the Year award. This award is sponsored by Dr. James L. Johnson, who used to serve as an advisor for the Students Association and does come with a scholarship. This award was voted on by the Senate, and I'm happy to announce our Senator of the Year this year is our Diversity Liaison Garcia. All right. Sorry, I kind of ruined the surprise by making him hand out the awards. That was my bad. Whoops. All right, and our next award goes to is our Ex Officio of the Year award, and this year's Ex Officio of the Year, which was also voted on by the Senate, is Alyssa from UPC. I know, long walk.
It's okay. Congratulations.
Let's give all our award recipients a round of applause. All right, moving on to open forum, item E, public comments. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Senate tonight? All right, seeing none, we will move on to our committee and staff reports. I'll start off with my own. First of all, I want to give a shout out to our very own Senator Podell, who put on Nepal Night last night. It was a wonderful event, had not been on for 5 years, but she gave some wonderful performances and the food was delicious. So let's give her a hand. And the second announcement, for those of you in the group me, you may have seen this, but last week I did attend the Board of Regents meeting and presented our recommendation for the reallocation of the general activity fee. You guys might fondly remember tabling and all the things we did last fall. And I'm very proud to say that the Board of Regents unanimously approved that reallocation. Woo! So. All right, that leads me into my farewell remarks. I'll try not to get too sappy, but I don't know. I think it's funny as I stand here tonight. When I walked on this campus as a freshman a few years ago, I definitely did not think this is where I was going to end up. Frankly, I don't know if any of you probably thought you would be on student government, but definitely serving as the president of this body was not something I had in mind. But I'm really grateful to the people that were around this table and weren't, that encouraged me to strive for something greater and ended up here. I want to just say I'm really proud of all that we've been able to accomplish here, especially alongside my wonderful VP Bentz. Of course, the GAF plan, right? A lot of you were here for that. That was a huge undertaking, and I'm really grateful for everyone that helped out with that, and seeing that through last week was really awesome. One of the things I set out to do was to put a second scoreboard in our stadium. That was my passion project my first year as a senator, and I'm proud to say, although we still don't have a permanent one, we at least have a temporary one. So I'm really happy to see that before I depart here in a couple of months. And then, of course, our passion project this year, free period products. I'm happy to say we have them in the Wellness Center and in the Union. So I appreciate everyone's support of that. Overall, though, I do have some thank yous. So again, first of all, I want to thank you, senators, for everything. This wouldn't have been possible without you, especially, all of our work with the general activity fee and all of our initiatives. This body is really responsible for that, and it wouldn't be possible without each of you. Specifically, I want to thank the executive team. Frankly, I think this is one of the most high-functioning executive teams I've ever seen, so I challenge you if you disagree with that. Genuinely, I started out this year and I said, I expect you all to do your jobs, and I don't want to micromanage you, and I genuinely don't think I ever have. So thank you all so much for making my job easier and allowing VP Bentz and I to work on the things that we love. So I genuinely cannot thank each of you enough for stepping up. And of course, Vice President Bentz, thank you so much for being by my side these past 2 years. Wouldn't want to do it with anyone else, and I'm really grateful for all the work we've gotten to do. But yeah, overall, serving as your president has really been one of the honors of my lifetime. I'm just really grateful for everything that we've been able to do, and thank you all for having me. With that, that's the end of my report. guys are holding up the meeting. Come on. No, but thank you. Really, I appreciate every single one of you. All right, we will move on to Vice President Benz.
President. Just the only item of business I have for all of you is to encourage any of your friends to be a senator at large upcoming on the selection process. The applications for that close on Friday at 5 o'clock. And a special nudge to the individuals that either did not successfully complete their petition or were not elected in the general election. As I mentioned before, you guys are still eligible to use that same petition that you already filled out. If you need additional signatures, you can use that same exact petition, just get whatever those additional signatures are and submit that same exact petition back to me at the vice presidential email. I would encourage you guys to do that for those of you who pertains to that in the room. And it wouldn't be a report of mine if I did not have some remarks for all of you in typical Hayden Benz fashion. I'm going to talk for a little bit, so I hope you all enjoy that. All right. 2 years, 6 months, and 20 days ago, I first sat down at this table. Tonight, it will be my last. It's been one of my greatest honors to serve the student body of the university that I love so dearly. I first applied to be a senator at large on the Students Association during the fall of my freshman year, hoping to find a way to be involved on campus. That hope was certainly realized as SA has become the defining experience of my time here at SDSU. During my freshman year, serving as a senator offered an insight into the functioning of the university that few other students are privileged to witness, just as everyone around this table has experienced. We had prudent discussions on a wide variety of issues concerning the corporation. The poor performance of Sodexo in its first year of operation was of great importance, and through the leadership of Students Association and then President Blake Pulse, students were afforded a partial refund on their meal plans. Additionally, LGBTQ rights and protections on campus were challenged and continue to be under threat today. I was proud to sponsor a bill that expressed the Students Association's support for GSA and LGBTQ students on our campus. Perhaps my greatest challenge came in April, when newly elected President Nick Grote resigned. Then Vice President Trinity Peterson assumed the presidency and subsequently tapped me to serve as Vice President. Never had I been more humbled that I would be chosen to lead in such a capacity. The process was hard for our entire executive team, but it also brought us closer together because of it. As a freshman, I had hardly been on campus compared to others, making me feel quite unqualified to hold this role. I tried to disprove that every single day by being the most prepared individual at any meeting I went to, consistently and tirelessly advocating for every single student. I could not be prouder of my record as Vice President. Alongside the leadership of President Trinity Peterson, whom without none of this would have been possible, Students Association conducted a thorough investigation of the general activity fee to craft a strategic plan that would dictate the spending of the $12 million fund through 2030. Countless students, many of whom are sitting around this table, contributed to this great undertaking. This plan will usher in a bold new future for the student body, increasing the funding for student organizations, improving access to vital programs such as Rabbit Ride and mental health resources, and securing the future of the Student Union, Wellness Center, and Athletic Department. However, of greatest personal significance to me was permanently establishing funding for the School of Performing Arts and the student ensembles within it, ensuring they can continue to function in the years ahead. Besides our work on the general activity fee, we continue to advocate for better performance of Sodexo, improve the experience of international students, provide input on the newly renovated First Bank and Trust Arena, better parking on campus, and envision the future of our campus through the Campus Master Plan. Internally, we clarified our bylaws, conducted prudent work on our committees, and advocated for students at the state legislature on a host of different issues. We registered students to vote in the 2024 general election, bettered communication between the Senate and the corporation, and ensured student voices were heard in university policy changes. There is still much I wish I was able to do. Transportation for students within Brookings has been and continues to be a challenge. It will require an elegant solution, one that appeases the city, university, and most importantly, students. Additionally, it is a great regret of mine that I did not advocate for greater campaign finance reform. We must limit the power of outside entities on our elections and ensure that spending money does not equate to winning an election. Lastly, communication between the Senate and the corporation has improved, though has far yet to go. To truly best represent your constituents, you must clearly communicate to them the business you are conducting and have it reciprocated back in the form of their opinion. Advocate for the college which you are a part of. Speak for the students you sit next to in class. Engage in discussion on the Senate floor and have meaningful debates. It is in these debates that we arrive at a more perfect solution. Our accomplishments during my 3 years on Students Association would not have been possible without the help of a great many people, of whom there are far too many to mention. My sincere thanks to our advisors, current and past, including Dr. Michaela Willis, Dr. Kimberly Grieve, Dr. Christopher Schmidt, and Dr. Jennifer Zavaleta-Cheek, for providing sound guidance and valuable insight into our university and how to enact meaningful change for our students. To Provost Dr. Dennis Hedge and Vice Provost Dr. Teresa Seefeld, thank you for consistently advocating for the betterment of students' education at SDSU. To President Dr. Barry Dunn, thank you for always advocating for students in every decision made on our campus. It is very rare to have an administration in higher education as student-oriented as ours, and SDSU is extremely fortunate to be so lucky. Above all, I extend my thanks to the students of SDSU for placing their faith in me over these last 3 years, whether that be knowingly or unknowingly. By unknowingly, I mean to say that if you're ever a student, or if you ever stop a student passing you by in the union and tell them that you serve on Students Association, their likely response is, "What's Students Association?" I say this to illustrate the point that one should choose to be on Students Association not out of a desire to gain fame or acclaim, but to serve our fellow students and improve the school we call home. We all come from vastly different backgrounds and experiences, indicative of the makeup of this university. However, time and time again, I'm impressed at this body's ability to find common ground amidst our many differences. The one thing that will always unite us is our desire to improve the lives of every single Jackrabbit. My thanks to the senators I served with, for they all shared that same goal. There are a great many challenges that those remaining around this table will have to face, which I cannot predict. To that end, I would say this: stand up for what you believe in and be true to your convictions. In the face of power, do not succumb to its overwhelming force, challenge it. Ask that each and every one of you, whether it is around this table, on campus, or in your daily lives, take bold action and create the change which you want to see. My time serving the student body is all but over, and my flame nearly extinguished. I now pass the torch to you. It's now up to all of you to carry on fighting for our fellow students. I love South Dakota State University, and I love being a Jackrabbit. I've loved sitting at this table, and I've loved serving as your vice president. Thank you.
Thank you, Hayden. Continuing down our committee and staff reports, we'll move on to Chief of Staff Sabo.
I would like to say, before Hayden even started talking, I wrote "Hayden makes us all cry" in the minutes, so I did call that. And because he made me cry, this is going to be interesting. I don't have anything written out, but I do just want to say thank you all so much for such a great Senate term. Just like Trinity said, I never would have assumed that I would be here, let alone serving as your Chief of Staff. God, what is wrong with me? So I'm very grateful for this experience. I feel like it has really changed who I am, and I'm so proud of all the work that we've all gotten to do. I wouldn't want to sit next to anybody except for these guys. They've made me a better person, and I hope that all of you continue to, like Hayden said, fight for what students want at this university, because we do make a difference, and I think that everybody that comes and talks to us says the exact same thing, and I think that's just something that you should all remember as you continue your time at this table. So, thank you all so much. Good luck to the next executive team. End of report.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Sabo. Finance Chair Peterson.
The University Activity Fee and Budgeting Committee to approve of our preferred general budget for fiscal year 26. So that is very exciting. That makes more funding available for student organizations in the coming years since the Board of Regents has approved our GAP plan. Other than that, I just want to thank all of you for your hard work this semester. And for those of you that are coming back, keep it up. You really do make a difference. End of report.
Stays very true to herself. No emotion. Okay. No, thank you, Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
The Student Promotion Fund Committee met today to go over the Hobo Day application, which was a little bit of an odd way to end the semester, considering I had to apply for the fund. So thanks to Vice President Vance for chairing that with me today. But with that, I'm excited to announce that the Student Promotion Fund fully depleted the fund this year. We spent all $50,000, which was a big task that my predecessor, Michael Gearfollow, worked on last year, and I continued this year. So I'm super excited to say we accomplished that goal. And with that, thanks everyone that served on that committee. Thanks everyone that served on the Government Affairs Committee, and thanks for being here every week. It's been a fun year, and I'm looking forward to keeping up with you guys next year and seeing what's going on, and also come to Hobo Day next year. So.
Thank you, Government Affairs Chair Kennedy. Communications Chair Fink.
Yeah, I'd just like to say it's been an absolute privilege to have been your guys' communications chair for the past year. I'd especially like to thank our executive team for being extremely patient with me with my extreme lack of experience in Students Association coming into this. I am very grateful for the experience and very grateful for all of you. Like everybody said, keep up the good work. I cannot wait to see what you guys do in the future. End of report.
Thank you, Communications Chair Fink. And I promise your lack of experience was not a burden whatsoever. Moving on to Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Yeah, first I'd like to start off by saying that I also attended Nepal night last night, and it was a great night, great experience as well. And I would just like to know how great our Senator Paudel did in her performances, and overall just running the whole event. It was awesome. And then lastly, I would also like to say thank you to everyone. I came in mid-fall. Thank you for taking me in, and especially thank you for supporting all my commemorations and also listening to them. It's very important, and thank you.
Thank you, Diversity Liaison Garcia. We'll move on to ex officio reports, beginning with AFA. BSA.
Nothing to report.
GSA.
Well, all I have to report on is we're going to be taking the clothes down to Marty's Closet this weekend in Sioux Falls. We did have to rent 2 cargo vans from Motor Pool. We had that much clothes to donate. Thank you so much for donating everything if you donated stuff. And if you didn't, well, thank you for supporting us. And I do just want to say thank you for these past 2.5 years. I've been an ex officio here. This has probably been the funnest year of SA I've ever seen. So thank you.
Thank you, B. IRC.
No report.
LASA.
Last week we held a show and tell night as well as our elections. And this week we're planning on doing a guessing game for this week's meeting. And just to keep it with everyone saying thank you. I came in like last month, I think. I don't remember, but yeah. Yeah, it's a great experience. It's good being here. I like being in. Yeah. And report.
Thank you. UPC.
This Thursday, April 10th, we're going to be hosting another paint and sip event from 6 to 9 p.m. in the BBR. So you're going to be painting like a Bob Ross follow along, and there's also going to be mocktails there. And then next Monday begins our Easter egg hunt event. So early in the morning, us members of UPC are going to be coming to the Union and hiding a bunch of Easter eggs around. Some of them will have wrapped candy, and I believe some of them that might be gold color. We're still debating. Gold colored will have special prize slips that if you find one, you can come bring it to the UPC office and you get some special prize. I don't quite know what those prizes are at this moment. Our new coordinators came back from NACA, the programming conference this past weekend, and they said they saw a lot of great performers and acts and are interested in bringing some of them to campus over the next year. And then I will still be here until probably 1 or 2 more meetings. I'll be bringing in the new vice president, Peyton, to kind of teach her what I do sitting in this chair and then help transition her into this role for the next year. End of report.
Thank you. Move on to advisory reports, starting with Dr. Schmidt.
Good evening, everyone. Short report. I just want to thank you for having faith in me and giving me the nod for another year. I'm looking forward to serving the next Senate. And also just want to congratulate you on a great year, because I had a great Senate year. You got a lot of things accomplished. You should be proud of yourselves. And those that are leaving now, be proud of what you did and finish off your year strong academically. Let's say that as a teacher.
Thank you, Dr. Schmidt. Dr. Grieve.
Yeah, just an update. Dr. Willis continues to do well and is healing well and still expects to be back May 5th. Since our Greek people aren't here, it's Greek week, so I hope you'll get involved. Any of the events you're welcome to attend. And then, of course, I want to say thank you very much, especially to Trinity and Hayden. We spent a lot of time together and it's been a real big blessing to me. Congratulations to the executive team, not the senators.
Thank you, Dr. Grieve. And this Dr. Grieve will be departing here at the end of the academic year, so if we could give her a hand for all she's done for us. As she said, we have spent a lot of time together, and Dr. Grieve, I want to say we are always very grateful for your guidance, whether it be a rant session or advice, whatever it may be. She's always there. So yeah, I encourage you all to take advantage of your time with her these next couple of weeks because she's a blessing. So thank you, Dr. Grieve. All right, we will move on to committee reports. Are there any committee report that would like to report out tonight? Senator Sternhagen.
An ad hoc committee consisting of the diversity chair and several senators met with Tina Bergen last week to discuss the Student Success Network strategy for distributing information to students. The 2 goals of this meeting were 1, determining appropriate locations for videos demonstrating everything from using D2L to staying safe on Hobo Day, and 2, finding areas of improvement within my state. The committee ultimately determined that many of the videos that the Student Success Network has been creating should be put on the Getting Started page of My State, which when you log into My State is the page that it opens to. And then since certain select videos only make sense for certain contexts, like around Hobo Day or when registering for classes, those videos are going to be put in other pertinent locations for said video. And we also came away with a full page of recommendations for rearranging or rephrasing and refocusing the My State web pages. We were well informed from the start that IT will not accept all of our recommendations, but that several should be handled once the Inside State redesign is finished. And to finish, in my 4 years of giving committee reports, I've reported on everything from COVID-19 quarantine housing to the creation of SDSU's 2030 strategic plan. Almost every report has resulted in more work for the Senate or a new problem to solve to improve the student condition. While I will not be around to help out with the improvements that this committee has found, I have full confidence that my successors are certainly capable of doing that. I look forward to seeing where you all take this institution. Thank you.
Let's give a thank you to Senator Sternhagen. He is aptly wearing the word senior under his name tag. So fun fact for all of you, Senator Sternhagen has been around this table longer than anyone else here other than Dr. Schmidt. So he has been serving since his freshman year. So 4 years. So thank you so much, Grant, for all you've done. This table will not be the same without you. And sorry to the rest of you, but I'm glad I don't have to experience it without you. Any other committees I'd like to report out tonight? Senator Wessler.
The Student Success Committee met last Thursday. We are continuing working on the audit of the website for many of those student success links. I believe that smaller committee formed off of some of the concerns that we brought up in our initial meeting. I think they were kind of pulled in as additional resources. So whoever is sitting on the Student Success Committee, following the time that I am done, you will have quite a bit of work to do with next year's committee. So good luck with that. I think Senate will see, the Senate as a whole will see some things that we have to approve and do to help support that committee as well. So end of report.
Other committees, Senator Pulse.
USAC committee met last week, and to address the questions that were asked last time, the trail camera in Larson's is due to marketing purposes. They are making videos for their social media to show how busy it is and stuff like that. And I have been informed that blocks can now be used at Simple Servings in the market, and also you are allowed to get the whole fruit if you use a block at Simple Servings with your purchase. And then the Meat Lab waiver form is open, and then the last 10 days of the semester it will be approved or denied depending on how much you have. And then I brought up the breakfast pizza at Larson's for brunch, and they will be trying to make that come back. And I also brought up the dessert pizza that I mentioned at a previous meeting. They said that they have made it before and put it in since I said that, but I have not seen it there, and they said that they will try to get back out there. And the last thing I brought up was putting caramel sauce at the ice cream machine in Larson's, since I saw they had chocolate sauce. End of report.
Thank you, Senator Pauls. For those of you new senators, was brought to our attention at a former meeting that there were trail cameras being put up in Larson Commons. So thank you, Senator Pauls, for getting us answers on that student concern. Other committees I'd like to report out tonight.
A question for that committee report.
Okay, one moment. Are there any other committees I'd like to report out tonight? All right, seeing none, we can move on to questions. Senator Gibney.
What are the trail cameras really for, Mason?
Senator Pauls.
No comment.
All right. Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Chief of Staff Sabo.
I would just like to shout out Government Affairs Chair Kennecke for using up the entire Student Promotion Fund. This is something that our previous Government Affairs Chair got a whole commemoration for. So I think that she at least deserves a round of applause for that. She puts in so much time for that committee, and they've met with so many of our clubs and organizations, which really ties them all into our Senate, and I think is a really unseen tie to us. So, yes, great job.
Other questions for any of the committees or any of the reports tonight, I suppose? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to unfinished business. Item A, our only item of unfinished business tonight, Amendment 24-4-A. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Amendment 24-4-A. Title of amendment reads, an amendment revising the duties of the Finance Chairperson. Prime sponsor, Finance Chair Peterson. Sponsors include President Peterson, Chief of Staff Sabo, Diversity Liaison Garcia, Communications Chair Fink, Senators Sternhagen, Spear, Peterson, Tennant, and Robbins.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? It has been requested.
I'm going to try my hardest to read this the right way. Okay. Amendment 24-4-A. Title of amendment reads, an amendment revising the duties of the Finance Chairperson. Whereas the duties of the executive team members are listed in the Students Association bylaws, and whereas the bylaws are an important guide for completing duties throughout the Senate term, and whereas the bylaws currently do not accurately reflect the processes in place by the SDSU Students Affairs Shared Services, and whereas the bylaws currently do not accurately reflect the internal operations processes of the corporation, and whereas the bylaws should accurately reflect the processes utilized by the Student Affairs Shared Services and the corporation, therefore be it amended that the Article 4, Executive Branch Section 3, Powers, Subsection 4, Finance Chairperson, shall read as follows. Shall shall act as a liaison between the corporation and groups funded by the corporation, shall serve as chairperson of the corporation finance committee, shall attend Senate meetings and is subject to senator attendance policy, shall not have a vote unless they are a senator, shall act on all directives given by President or the Senate, shall approve disbursement of Senate funds in conjunction with the President, shall be responsible for maintaining the corporation's financial records, shall present a detailed monthly summary of the corporation's operating expenditures for the Senate for informational purposes, shall monitor on behalf of the Senate the expenditures of fees approved and authorized by the University Activity Fee Budgeting Committee, shall see that the SDSU Accounting Office receives a copy of the finalized, categorized student organization general budget after it is approved by the Finance Committee, Corporation Senate, University Activity Fee and Budgeting Committee, and University President. Shall serve as non-voting member of Board of Directors. Shall submit reports on all budget requests to the senators and appointed/elected officers 1 week prior to that request Corporation Finance Committee hearing. Shall meet with senators before the budgeting process begins and explain how it functions, and shall announce in the next corporation meeting following being notified of any expense from the corporation's internal budget that exceeds $200.
Can I entertain a motion to approve this amendment? Finance Chair Peterson.
Second.
Finance Chair Peterson, first right to debate.
So I'll try and keep it brief, but I will go through every line that is changed and just kind of give a little context to it. So the first line with edits is line F, and that is just to make sure that our bylaws align under the finance chair and the president. It is noted elsewhere in the bylaws that the president is also to approve of these. So with technology, a lot of these expenditures are directly billed to our account. Therefore, many of them are not physically signed, but an approval would be possible via email. The second one is line H. And I just want to make sure that the monthly summary that is shared with the Senate is more detailed to make sure everything is communicated clearly. The third line that would be amended, line J, is just to clean things up and list out the process of the approval of our general budget. Some things just weren't really making a whole lot of sense, whether they were just outdated practices or whatever it may be. That just clearly lists out the, chain of command and the process. Line L is just another one to clear things up a little more that would essentially require a finance committee agendas to be sent out a week prior to the finance committee meeting. Since these requests are not directly presented to the Senate until after the finance committee meeting, the recommendation is what is presented to the Senate. And then the last line with changes is line N. This is also just to make sure everything follows the processes that are in place elsewhere within the university. In my position, sometimes there are expenses that go through that I'm not aware of every single detail of until I get our monthly expense report. So I just wanted to add this so that as soon as the finance chair is aware of an expense, it is brought up to the Senate, and that could include receiving the monthly expenses, but also on expenses as the president authorizes them. So whatever way of notification of an expense exceeding $200 may be, it will be announced as soon as the finance chair is notified of it.
Any further discussion on this amendment? Senator Barnett.
I just noticed that on lines F and J, there were like little amendments to the amendment. I was wondering if either you or Finance Chair Peterson could provide some clarity on why.
What do you mean, by the bylaw amendment? This amendment has not been amended yet, so I just want to clarify your question.
Well, I just noticed on line F, sign all orders for it's in red,
that should not be in red. That's part of the initial bylaws.
And then same thing with on line J.
Yeah, so that would be part of that's what the bylaws say now. Anything that's crossed out is what's currently written in the bylaws. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I don't know why they're different colors. Apologies. Other questions or comments? Senator Gibney.
I'm not a lawyer, but in conjunction with, and Finance Chair Peterson, you might be able to shed more light on that. That means that both the Finance Chair and the President will have to sign off on all financial disbursements. Is that correct?
Correct. They would both have to approve them all.
Does that seem like a logistical barrier, or is that going to be negligible?
Finance Chair Peterson.
So the big thing with that was kind of our
like our funds, the special allocation fund and the new venture fund, those are ultimately signed off on by myself, by President Peterson, and then they go along the chain of command as well. So those are both signed off on by both of us. And then also just to make sure that communication is very clear, that one person isn't necessarily spending money without notification of the other person, just to make sure that both the president and the finance chair have to approve of those. And also it is elsewhere in the bylaws that the president does approve of these, and then it was listed that the finance chair approves of them. So if they can just both approve, then everything is followed.
Thank you.
Other discussion on this amendment? All right, seeing none, we'll take this to a roll call vote. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Duncan abstains, Gibney, Hofer,
Aye.
Campson,
Aye.
Markley abstains, Paudel,
Aye.
Peterson, Pulse,
Aye.
Robbins, Shell,
Aye.
Schmeck,
Aye.
Sierra,
Aye.
Spear,
Aye.
Stein,
Aye.
Sternhagen, Tennant,
Aye.
Vasquez,
Aye.
Wessler,
Aye.
Diversity Liaison Garcia,
Aye.
Communications Chair Fink,
Aye.
Finance Chair Peterson,
Aye.
Government Affairs Chair Kennedy, Chief of Staff Sabo, aye, Vice President Benz.
Aye.
The ayes have it, and Amendment 24-4-A is approved. All right, we are moving on to new business. Item A, we will have the swearing in of President and Vice President. So if we could first have our Vice President-elect, Wesley Sierra, come forward. Oops. President-elect Spear can come stand in the corner, but yeah.
Sarah, will you please raise your right hand? I, Wesley Hunter Sierra,
I, Wesley Hunter Sierra,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association,
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
and promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU,
promote the purposes and objectives of
educational
objectives of SDSU,
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position to the best of my ability.
and faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position
To the best of my
to
ability.
the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sophie Spear,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association,
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Student Association,
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
and promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU,
and promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU,
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. All right, we will now move on to new business, item C, or item B, swearing in of our elected senators. If you guys wouldn't mind standing, those of you who were elected. Does everyone have a paper that they can glance around? Makes it a lot easier for both you and I. All right. Raise your right hand, please, or whatever hand, I think it's right. Okay. I state your name.
I,
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association.
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association,
Support and proudly represent the students of SDSU.
support and proudly represent the students of SDSU,
And promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU.
and promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU,
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position to the best of my ability.
and to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position to the best of my ability.
Congrats. Now don't forget to sign that paper. All right, we will now move on to new business. Item C, approval of the executive team. Wesley and I spent a long weekend having interviews for our executive team, and we had a lot of great applicants. And at the end of the day, we chose the people that we felt would best serve not only the Student Association, but the body, the corporation as a whole. So I believe we got everybody up here. Just to introduce everybody, our new Chief of Staff will be Senator Emma Peterson. Our Gov Affairs will be Anna Hunt. Finance, Dominic Del Hoyde. Diversity Liaison will be our Matilda Alex. And our Communications Chair, Emily Rienenberg. Y'all ready? Say your name. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Student Association.
Solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the SDSU Students Association.
Support and proudly represent the students of SDSU.
Support and proudly represent the students of SDSU.
And promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU.
Promote the purposes and educational objectives of SDSU.
And to faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position.
To faithfully discharge the duties of my elected position.
To the best of my ability.
To the best of my ability.
All right. I realized that I might have done this in the wrong order, and I sincerely apologize. But we will have to do a voice vote approval of this executive team. All those in favor, or can I get a motion to approve this executive team? Senator Schmidt?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, and they are approved. Congratulations. All right. Any topics for future discussion? Seeing none. Any announcements? Senator Gibney.
Yes, I didn't get to say my farewell remarks because I'm not a member of a committee that had to report out, but I've served my term. I get to say my spiel. Home is where the heart is, and my heart is with the people that I care about, my family, whether that's my fraternity, my ROTC battalion, or this Senate. Y'all have made my time at college much, much better than it would have been without it. You've enhanced my experience. You've given me friendship, relationships. President Spear, the buck stops with you. If I've seen anything at the Board of Regents meeting this past week, I think that you'll do an amazing job. That goes for everybody on the staff. I want to commend all of you for being selected to do that. Lead the students well. To our advisors, thank you very much. Try not to get choked up here, but serving as a senator and serving as the executive director for the Federation, I do believe that student government matters. Common sense is king. I've been asked to support a lot of legislation that was fairly underdogged because of my innate ability to, like, children in the room still, not give a shit about hurting people's feelings. Do the right thing, and you'll have a successful senatorial career. Thank you.
Are there any more announcements? Seeing none, I have just a couple. After the Senate meeting tonight, I know President Peterson announced this in our group meeting that we will be going to Pine Sand Courts. We strongly recommend all those who are available to come. We would love to have you there. And I believe that is it. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Senator Barnett?
Second.
And with that, we are adjourned.